Okay, so I'm gonna be showing off this little code I wrote. Basically, let me open the terminal here. Basically, it's a little GUI application that checks balances for Ethereum or Binance, Smart Chain, whatever you select. Let's go over here and get into my MetaMask. So I have this account here, and there's obviously the test net. So let's enter the account address, click check balance, and we get a return, positive return. Let's go check another one. Let's check this one right here. So erase this, and boom. So it honestly works pretty well. So you can customize all of this. I'm just showing off the feature itself. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to be using Fleet here. You guys can use VS Code, it's pretty much the same. So to get started, make a new file, call it etc.py. Well, it can be whatever name you want to be. So we're going to need 3 different things. First things first, we need to import the CustomTKinter, because that's going to be our GUI interface. Then let's import the Web3 sessions, because we're going to do some error handling if it's not a valid Web3 address. And then from Web3 import Web3, and then async. I don't think we're going to be using async Web3. I'm not going to import it just yet. Okay, so now declare your v3. We can say Web3 just so it's more clear. So you want to see Web3, then Web3 once again, and then we're going to select which provider we're going to be using. So I'm going to go with the HTTP provider and open brackets. So now here you're going to paste the link of your HTTP provider. So I'm going to be using the Binance Smart Chain. You can go ahead and use Sepolia or anything else. So to find it, go into Google and then Smart Chain servers. There's a website, not Discord servers. There we go, chain list. So in chain list you can view like the best RPC server addresses. So we're gonna go with, let's see, this one looks good. I don't know if this one is mainnet, but these are mainnet. We need testnet only. So let's refresh. Public node. Let's copy this one. Boom. Enter it here. And that's pretty much it. You have your Web3 connected. So just to test it out, let's do web3.etc. Actually, never mind. Okay, so once we're connected, we can check if we are connected. And we're going to be following the Web3 documentation here, which you can check for connected in the quick start by doing a wait and see if you are connected, if you're truly connected. It's called VS3, and we're just checking if we are connected. So let's run it. This should return true. Oh god, I forgot to print it. Dot is underscore connected. Now let's run it. Jesus Christ. Okay, so we have true, which means we are connected to the node. Now we can make special API calls. So for the next part is we're gonna import. We already import CustomTkinter. So you do want to do pip install for Web3 and then pip install for CustomTkinter, and they're all documented on their official websites. So go ahead over there. Now we're gonna make a couple helper functions for checking the balance. So do a declaration of a function here. Then we're gonna call this check BLN. Here we're gonna get the account, which is a string. Now we're gonna return web3.etc.get balance, and then here we're gonna specify the account. So that's it for our function. Now we're gonna make another helper function. This one is gonna be a format, because if you just call the get balance, I'll show you. So if you just call get balance, it returns really like huge balances like this or like this. So we want to use a converter, which is from way or two-way. So it's basically a converter or a formatter. You can say formatter. So here we're going to say balance, still a string, and then return here. We're going to return web3.format.from way, and then here we're going to say the balance, which is the function input, and then here we're going to specify that it's ether. Now we can combine these two and say format here, and then it should be fine. Now let's check. For instance, we're going to say BLN equals input, and then say please enter account number. Okay, let's save this. Okay, so now we need to do an account number. Oh, I have one, fortunately. So paste this in. Oh, so now we want to print this out. We want to print out check BLN, and then here we want to enter what do we call this again? BLN. Okay, so run this. Let's enter the account number, and we get 0. So we run this with a different address. I think the conversion rate is fucked. So let's run this without the format. Might be the public note. So here we go. Yeah, it says 0. I know what the issue is. We're not on the test net, and we're just on the regular public node. So you want to specify that we are on the test net, which is testnet.publicnode.com. Now we can wrap this again in format. I'm so sorry about this issue. So now, since everything is fine, let's retry this, and there you go. We get our balance. So let's continue. We already have our functions and all of that good stuff in here. Now we need to work on making the GUI work. So make a variable called app, because that's where our GUI is going to be called. Then use CustomTKinter and do .ctk, and it is an executable. It is a function, so call the method ctk. Then app.title. We can do web3 balance checker. Then app.geometry. This is the geometry of our window, like how big it is. I'm gonna do 400 by 250. Then app.grid. A colonial figure. We'll do 0. Weight 1. Now that's pretty much it for our app. So now here we need to actually execute the and if we go back into my code here, we need to run the main.loop app.main loop. So let's run it, and it should pop up a little window here. There you go. Our Web3 balance checker is now up and running. So now we want to create some of the windows and some of the buttons. So it's really simple. We're going to create a text box. And you do want to work in here. Text box equals CustomTKinter .ctk text box, and then we're going to say app. Now give it a grid so you can actually display it. .grid, and the grid is going to be a row 0 and column 0 as well. So now if we run this, there's going to be a text box available for us, and there it is. This is where we're going to display our data. Okay, so now we need to make an entry. That's where we're going to take in the input of the address. So do entry equals CustomTKinter.ctk entry, and it's going to be on the app, and then placeholder text going to be enter amount, enter account address. Okay, now I'll give it a grid. We're going to leave it empty, but still need to specify the grid so you can see it. Form the code. Okay, so now we have the entry. Now we're going to make our button. So to make our button, it's pretty much the same way we just did before. We already have our entry, so now let's make the button. Button equals CustomTKinter.ctk button. Now it's going to be in the app, obviously. Text is going to be check VLN or balance. And now here, which is a cool little feature CustomTKinter has, is we can specify a command. And this command will execute on click. So let's leave this empty for now, and let's make a command. Well, the command is going to be called btn check. Now we can head back here and work on our function to do the check. Dev btn underscore check. So it won't take any input into it. So we want to get whatever's coming from this entry here. So let me run this so you can kind of see what's going on. App SDK function defined in line 18. Print. Okay, now we should be able to run. So execute this, and you're going to see a similar structure to what I had. Oh yeah, we forgot to specify the grid for the button grid. Paddocks. Let's give it a grid of 20, and then pad Y, let's give it a grid of 20 as well. So that's the X and Y padding. So there you go, our check button, and on click it executes the print test command. So I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger because I feel like I can't see the test button. So you can mess with these settings a little bit. There you go, and that's perfect. So now we're gonna work in the BTN checker. Everything else is done. So here I'm gonna specify called from entry. So from entry, it's gonna be whatever is inside the entry. So we're gonna say entry dot get, and basically this will pull whatever is in it, and also we want to convert it into a string because it's a string variable, I believe. Entry dot get. So now it's 100% a string, but it's a CTK entry which returns like a string like object, I believe. So we just want to make sure it's a string 100%, so we want to convert it right there. So now let's open our try here, and I'm going to show you why we're doing the try and accept. So we want to get whatever's inside the text box. So it's xbox dot okay, so let's fetch the balance here. Balance is going to equal to our check BLN, and then here it's going to be from entry, and now we have our address here. Now let's print our balance, and then accept do print error. Obviously we're not accepting any type or anything like that, but I'll show you why we have the try and then accept. So let's run our program here, and now if we enter nothing, you're going to see that it errors, and we want to log the error. So we're going to delete the try, and we want to delete the accept. So let's leave it just like this. 1 minute. Run our Python program, and here if we execute it, we can see that we get a Web3 exception invalid address. So obviously if we enter nothing or we enter some bullcrap, it's going to be an invalid address. But if we enter a valid address, let's go to MetaMask once again, copy this right here, and we enter this, it's going to return the right balance. So the error is that if we give it a wrong address, it will give us an exception. So that's why we want to wrap it into a try and accept, and then here in the accept we have our error right here, which is a web3 dot exceptions dot invalid address. And now here we want to print if such thing happens. We can do print please enter a valid address for now. All right, we can always add it into here. Sorry, we're still recording. Okay, so we have our function. Now we're going to display all of this. So we're getting our address from the entry with entry.get. Now all we have to do is insert our value right here into the text box, and this is very simple. So we want to specify text box dot insert. How we insert values into an array, it's kind of similar. So here I want to specify the index, which is 0.0, and then comma, and then here we want to specify what we want to insert. So for our instance, it's going to be balance. So let's run this. So now if we give it Oh god, just because this has the same name with it, it's gonna error here. Oh, let's change the, let's call the big boy Web3. Not here, in the exception. I think I'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, let's call it this V3. And then we're gonna change all of these V3. And then here we want to call the Web3 actually. Sorry I had to encounter that. So there you go. Now we get the right errors. It's because it's conflicting because it has the same name. So the package is called Web3, so we generally don't want to give it the same name, but I did. So that's my fault. So please enter a valid address. So if we don't enter a valid address, it's gonna spam this in the console. So now if we do enter a valid address, we want to see it in the text box here. That's right here, and boom, we get our address. We get our balance right here. So, but there is a little error here. It's actually not an error, but it's something that we don't want it to happen. So if you keep clicking check balance, it's just gonna keep stacking these balances onto here. And there's a couple ways to fix it. We could add a clear button on the bottom, but I feel like that's too much. So what we're gonna do is every time this function is called, we're going to clear the text box. And by clearing it, all we have to do is text box dot delete, enter 1.0, and then here CustomTKinter dot end. And CustomTKinter dot end is a literal end, which is gonna show us from where the string starts to the end, and it will delete from here to here. So let's rerun this and I'll show you how this works. Let's enter our code here, and then every time we try to enter a new one, it basically clears the balance. It clears the string in here. We can also do it manually, honestly, and then re-enter. So now let's see. We have another balance. We have another account with a balance. Let me switch accounts. First say this one. Delete it. Check balance 0.6. So there you go. That's everything I wanted to show. The code is going to be on GitHub. Thanks for watching. This is my first video, so please go easy on me. And if you're interested in more like Web3 and Python, let me know. I'll keep making videos. And thank you.